going for Australians' own sport here tonight.
It is a special sport indeed, born on the land, in the bush, in the outback, on huge cattle stations where thousands of steers and heifers run in unfenced territory. And it's a sport where our horsemen would pit their horse flesh against each other to see who was the most skilled out manoeuvring cattle around obstacles.
Well, Lindsay, you were 100% right. Still today, our stock men and women take cattle in what we call the long yard or the long paddock. It's out on the road and they're a long day, walking along, letting the cattle graze the sides of the road, particularly when the times are really tough here in Australia. And you can imagine, if you are sitting there with your mates, you're going to want to break the day up. And that is where the sport came from. They got together and they said, I think that my horse is better than your horse. And today, the sport of camp drafting, over 100 years old, is now one of the fastest growing equestrian sports. It is a very exciting event. And how it works is our competitors, they'll bring the cattle out here, but I think I've got time, Linz. Do you want me to show you what's going to happen?
That would be very handy.
Well, they'll come into this yard here.
Which we call the camp.
Which we call the camp. And there'll be 8 steers in here. They'll find their steer and they'll cut it out. They'll hold it off the rest of the mob and they'll cut that beast and they'll try and get the big points here. There's up for 26 points.
Now, it's quite challenging though, Tim Dreverman, because cattle like to be near each other. So if you separate one from his mates, he says, I want to get back with my cousins.
He certainly does. Now, when they're ready, they'll call for the gate. As they call for the gate, our yardmen will open the gate and they'll venture out here into the main arena. This horse doesn't want to play game. He did it consistently. So they're going to come out. We're going on a left-hand course. So they'll pick up this left-hand lead. No, it'll make me look like an amateur here, Lindsay. He'll come around the left peg. He'll come back through the middle. Now, he is travelling with a 300-kilo Ellerston Pastoral Company cow. And he'll bring it around here. He's now got to take this beast and take it on the right-hand lead around the second peg as close as he can. And from here, well, ladies and gentlemen, you need to keep your eyes on them because they're going to come galloping up through the middle of the giant stadium. They'll pick up the left rein. You can see our 2 pegs here, and they'll drive that beast between the pegs. 26 for points in the camp, 64 for horsework, 4 for the course. A score out of 100. It is one of the most exciting, entertaining events that you will see here in the Giant Stadium.
We are going to see these lovely Australian stock horses and quarter horses out there at full gallop, trying to manoeuvre one of the Ellerston beasts out here around that course. And Sydney, if they get through the gate at the end, that's the 2 green trees out there that are close together. If they are capable of doing that tonight, we would love to hear you roar with support. We've seen a lot of clear rounds out here over the last few nights, and we're hoping to see a couple more. It's a bit of a marathon, the World Championship Campdraft, so each of these top riders, 15 of them, are invited here, and if they get through the gate and can get a really good score for 6 nights, they may well take out the overall title. And welcome to all of our live stream viewers all over Australia. We'd love you to be here with us at the Sydney Royal Easter Show, but great that you're online as well. We look forward to a wonderful contest tonight. Tim Dreverman and Jim Callanan, the voice of Australian camp draft and polo cross, is on the ground to bring all the action.
Well, Jimmy, it's great to welcome you here, my friend. That we have seen some of the best camp drafting to date. Mate, we've seen some amazing winners. I ask you this as we come into night number 4. How do you think the competition's going to unfold tonight, Callow?
Well, Tim and Lindsay, we've seen champagne camp drafting. Well, tonight's going to be top shelf. You're going to see, this is the deciding point along here now. This is where it can start to turn, where it's going to go for 2023.
These beautiful steers, Jimmy, thanks to Ellerston Pastoral Company. Great pleasure to welcome Mr. Scott Miller here. Big thank you to Rob Teague and the Packer family. Ellerston Pastoral Company, a long affiliation, as is our other wonderful sponsor, Jimmy Callanan, and that is the wonderful people from Tyrrell's Wine.
Yes, Tyrrell's Wines. They've been a great sponsor, another great relationship with the RAS and Tyrrell's Wines and the Campdrafters, and also Wrangler with the way they've decked the Campdrafters out with their magnificent white shirts and their ties and so forth. So many, many thanks to Wrangler.
Well, Jimmy, do you have a winner for tonight?
Any one of the 15, Tim, can take out either round, any time from round 1 right through to round 6.
Splinters, Jimmy. You sit on the fence, you will get splinters.
You've been telling me that for a long time now, but I've been lucky enough to get no splinters. But any one of these 15 competitors to get the invitation to come here to the Sydney Royal Easter Show for the World Championship Campdraft, any one of those competitors, they can win any round or go through and win rounds of. So it's any one of the 15.
Is it the legend here? They've had people competing for over 50 years from the Palmer family, Mr. Troy Palmer. Does Rob Leach step up and win 2 nights in a row? Or does Matt Holtz, who's been knocking at the door? Josh Barnett or any one of our other competitors? Ladies and gentlemen, we have the best competitors here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show, competing in the World Championship Campdraft, and we are excited to bring that to you shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please be upstanding. And gentlemen, remove your hats as Emma Irene leads us in the Australian National Anthem. Well, each day a new draw comes out and a competitor needs to go into camp first. They won't know how the cattle are going to run, but they get the first choice of each of the steers in there tonight from Ellerston Pastoral. As we move through the list, there's an advantage to getting a bit of time to seeing how the cattle run, what the scores are like, and getting to see how they behave in camp. Of course, the further we get through the draw, though, the less cattle that are on offer. Tonight, the first man out, family lineage, back generations here at Sydney Royal Easter Show. Mr. Troy Palmer will head into camp. on his beautiful dun mare there, Blue Tunes. He is top of the most successful rider standings in Australia at the moment. Placed second here overall in the World Championship Campdraft last year at Sydney Royal.
So here we go, Troy Palmer. Round number 4, World Championship Campdraft, brought to you at the Commons of Tyrrells. And once again, many thanks to Ellerston Pastoral Company, to Rob Tegg. And we welcome to Scott Mitchell and his wife Anne here tonight, the 2IC from Ellerston Pastoral Company, and many thanks to all the team from up there for the work that goes in the preparation of these cattle to come to Sydney. So welcome Scott and Anne, and we know you're over there in the stand, and I hope you're sipping on a Tyrrells. Sit back and enjoy round number 4. Rob and Michelle, they'd be at home now, sitting back watching via live stream, and we welcome you all at home watching round number 4. Sit back and enjoy. So the judges have given him the nod. Blue Tunes and Troy Palmer about to go to work. Looking to put the big score on and say, catch me if you can. Blue Tunes and Troy Palmer, they make their selections out of a possible score of 26 in the camp. And look at Blue Tunes. Look at this. Oh, on this wonderful Saturday, right up the front, goes again. Blue Tunes, Troy Palmer, nearly comes out of the saddle. He's back in it. He comes out now onto the dance floor. And just a little bit of a falter there. But Blue Tunes says, oh my right, I'll just come around here and look at here. Anticipation. Now, Troy Palmer just does a quick changeover. Beautiful running steer. Around the second peg they come. And Blue Toon says, yes, Troy, let me move up here. Just finger touch control. Troy, Blue Toon says, let's sit back and go for the big ones. Oh, Sydney, boys and girls, let's get ready. This is going to be champagne campdrafting. Yes, it's top shelf right down the middle. Blue Toons ridden by Troy Palmer.
Well, while we wait for the score, Mr. Troy Palmer, a history with his show like no other. First out again tonight. Score on the board. Well done.
Thanks, Timmy. Great that we could be here tonight. Thanks to the huge crowd for coming out and supporting us.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Troy Palmer.
The scores come through now for Blue Tunes, ridden by Troy Palmer, of 23 for cutout, 64 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course. Total score of 91 points for Blue Tunes, ridden by Troy Palmer. So there's the nod. Mark Palmer gets the nod from the judges. Ready to go with Palmer's Dynamic. Mark Palmer now right up the face of the camp, and look at Dynamic, says we'll go there, we'll go, come back into the middle of the yard, blocks him off again, here, right there, calls for the gate, and Dynamic right there. No, they go deep, drops deep in the yard, blocks him off again. Here, the Angus Cross, Black Ball East here, and here's Palmer's Dynamic. Mark Palmer in the saddle, around the first peg they come. This is Campdrafting, right around on the beach's shoulder, gives him a bit of a bump, and Mark Palmer's got it all under control, and so does Dynamic. Says, yes, let's go now, tighten it around the second peg. Look here. Oh, this is champagne. Campdrafting right around on the beach shoulder. Now sits back. He says a little bit of a check. They sit. They go. They're going for the big ones. This is going to be off the top shelf, right through the middle. Dynamic. Mark Palmer, come on down. And Debbie, she'll be clapping in the grandstands. And Ali and Bridie as well.
Well, Scotty from Ellerston, Scotty Mitchell, 2 from 2. Your cousin got one around, Mark. You get one through the gate. How good is that?
Yeah, he's a pretty tough act to follow, I'll tell you.
Made an amazing effort here tonight. What's it like coming into the Giant Stadium and campaigning out in front of this awesome crowd?
Yeah, no, Sydney's one of the best places you can go to draft. Can't draft in front of a crowd like this every weekend, and it's always an honour to be here.
Back to you, Jimmy.
Okay, the scores come through for Palmer's Dynamic, ridden by Mark Palmer. 18 for cutout, 64.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 86.5. 86.5 points there for Palmer's Dynamic, ridden by Mark Palmer. So Tony Mortimer from Saltash with Little Abbey. About to go to work. Oh, I guess one off nice and clean too. And Little Abbey and Tony Mortimer. And wife Kim here in the stand riding with Tony as well. Dar comes right up the face of the camp. He calls for the gates to swing open. He's out onto the dance floor. And what a dance floor it is around the first peg. And Little Abbey and Tony Mortimer. Oh, says, just go here. Finger touch control. He says, well, just sit down here. Wait a little bit. And goes again. This is going to tighten things right up. Oh, it comes around. Can they? Yes, it's looking good around the second peg. They got 3 out of 4 for the course. Now they have. Now, can they do it? Can they do it? Come on, Little Abbey. Come on, boys and girls, mums and dads. I think they can. I think they can. Yes, they can.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are seeing the best in the business here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show in the Giant Stadium. And Tony Mortimer, every night we get to chat to you. Another night, another gate. Well done.
Thanks, mate.
You had the boys cheering for you in the camp. You had to work a bit hard, but got it done.
Yeah, we got there. See how good it is.
Has the score been enough? Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Tony Mortimer.
Scores come through now for Little Abbey, ridden by Tony Mortimer of 21 for cutout, 62.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 87.5 points. 87.5 points for Little Abbey, ridden by Tony Mortimer. Well, Scott Mitchell from Ellerston Pastoral Company said to me last night, he said, Jimmy, I dream of having 1 year of 15 out of 15. Well, Scott Mitchell, you're on track. You've got 3 out of 3 so far. This could be the night. So we'll go now with Dylan McKinnon with Rod Law Sunset. Makes his selection. Dylan McKinnon now, right up the face of the camp. Got Mum and Dad, Rodney and Lorraine here. His great supporters in the stand. Things have just come undone a little tiny bit. Comes out now. Gate opens up. They come out onto the dance floor here in the Giant Stadium. Dylan McKinnon, Rod Law Sunset around the first peg. And the black ball, he still says, gee, it feels good out here. Oh, magnificent open spaces. Reminds me of the paddocks back home at Ellerston. And around the second peg, they start to warm things up a little bit now. Dylan McKinnon, Rod Law Sunset. Now they've got 3 out of 4 for the course. Come on, let's ride again, boys and girls, mums and dads. Let's cheer him on. Come on, Dylan. Come on, Dylan. Don't let us down. Oh.
Well, the youngest competitor in the competition, he didn't get the gate, but Sydney, please put your hands together. 20-year-old Dylan McKinnon.
So we've got a score that's come through now for Rod Law Sunset, ridden by Dylan McKinnon of 15.5 for cutout, 57.5 for horsework, 3 out of 4 for the course, a total of 76 points, 7-6 for Rod Law Sunset, ridden by Dylan McKinnon. And Brendan and Tyler Kelly, they're about to put the beast away and straight down the chute. He knows where the best bedroom is in the house, and out the back they go for a lovely meal of great lucerne hay and water and get all ready for the evening. So here we go with Cassie Fordham with Dooley's checks. Cassie Fordham, the nurse from the Tamworth Base Hospital, loves this sport of camp drafting and a very good competitor she is. Cassie Fordham now calls for the gate. She steps out now into the Giant Stadium, round 4 of the World Championship Campdraft. Oh, and she's got, oh! Well, the stampers just fell off the envelope before it got to the post office. But that's camp drafting. That does happen, no matter what sport it is. It just doesn't go to plan sometimes. But give her a lovely round of applause there, our only lady competitor, Cassie Fordham. And she will go out with a cutout score of 20.5 points there for Dooley's checks, and ridden by Cassie Fordham, 2-0. Well, Wyatt Young from Tamworth, the horse trainer. Last year's winner of the World Championship Campdraft with Benny up Mullane. About to make his selection. Mum and Dad here in the grandstands as well, Craig and Janelle. So, Wyatt Young. He's about to be the man of the moment. Just studies the cattle. They'll let him go back to the bottom of the yard. Just waiting for him just to walk out a fraction to try and get him away nice and clean, and he's got it now. So this is Wyatt Young, Benny up Mullane. Right up the face of the camp. Oh, he gets a tricky one. Things just didn't go to plan there, so now it comes straight out of the camp. Straight out now, onto the dance floor here in the Giant Stadium. Around, and things are just going to fall short. But give me a nice round of applause there. Just not his night in round number 4.
Well, we see Brent Smith head into camp now. He got a great score last night of an 87.5 from the town of Tamworth in the New England.
So the scores come through for Benny Mullane and Wyatt Young. A cut-out score there of 16 points. 16 points for Benny and Mullane, ridden by Wyatt Young. So our next competitor, from the northern part of New South Wales, the station manager from Gunnedah, Brent Smith with Scandal. He gets the nod there from our camp draft judges in Warwick Lawrence from Rosebrook and Rodney Crump from Campden. So Brent Smith with Scandal moves right up the face of the camp. Goes the 2, the 3, he calls for the gate now. The steer says, yes, let me get out of here. And I want to go for a big run around, a good bit of an evening's exercise. And look here, Scandal and Brent Smith around the first peg. Just feeds a little more rain. Now he'll do the check. Over, they've got 2 out of 4 for the course. Now looking for 3 out of 4. Around the second peg they come. Scandal, Brent Smith within the control saddle. Comes around there now. Gets 3 out of 4 for the course. Does the changeover now, heading for the gate. Come on, Sydney, boys and girls. Let's ride with Scandal and Brent Smith. It's looking good. Give him a round of applause. Get the bottle of Tyrrell's out and fill up the glasses.
Well, Jimmy, what a treat we're seeing. Hey, Brett, another night, another chance to talk on the microphone, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you. What a crowd.
Isn't it awesome? Hey, Sydney, how about it? Put your hands together for this young man. What a ride.
So the scores come through for Scandal, ridden by Brent Smith, of 20.5 for cutout. 63 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course. Total of 87.5 points. 87.5 points for Scandal, ridden by Brent Smith. So we go to number 8 in the draw. Dean Turner from Dungog on the well-known horse Ted. And here we go, Dean Turner, right up the face of the camp. He gets him off pretty quick. Now comes across, blocks him up. He does the 2, the 3, calls for the gate now. Swings out, he's out on centre stage here now. This is Dean Turner with Ted. Now Ted says, come on, God, it feels good out here this evening. He's like the Angus cross steer. Comes around, says, this is marvellous. The floor, the ground is perfect. He says, I'll just go on over here towards the second peg. And Dean Turner, he nearly takes the leads there off it on the second peg. Comes around here now. They get 3 out of 4 for the course. They do a little bit of a changeover. Come on, Sydney. I think we better warm those hands up again. What do you think? Get ready. Get ready. Come on, Ted. Come on here now. Dean Turner right through the middle. Fill up the glasses again.
Well, you guys here tonight on day number 10 at the Sydney Royal Easter Show are having a fair crack at watching it. Dean, how did that feel?
Yeah, it was great, mate. Riding in front of a big crowd like this. It's credit the organisers and everyone that come support us.
And tell us a little bit about this horse. Where's it come from and how do you come here tonight?
Yeah, Skippy McCarthy bred him. He's judged here a few times, rode here as well. Gave him away as a wedding present, and I ended up with him from there.
Well, not a bad wedding present. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Smythe as we go back to Callow.
Dean Turner with Ted scored 21 for cutout, 61.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 86.5. 86.5 points there for Ted, ridden by Dean Turner. Well, we go from Dungog across to Singleton and pick up Josh Barnett, competitor number 9 in round number 4. Riding Simply Irreductible. The all-rounder, saddle bronc rider, camp drafter, polo cross player. Here he comes, Josh Barnett with Simply Irreductible, and Simply Irreductible going to town here, looking for the big points. Turns around, he comes back across. Simply Irreductible now, and Josh Barnett, they come out on centre stage and around the first peg, and he's got a nice free-flowing steer as well. And Simply Irreductible, Josh Barnett, he was sitting in the saddle, says, just leave the footwork to me. You just come with me and I'm ready to go when you are. And around the second peg, look at this, and look at Simply... Oh. Give you a round of applause, Sydney. Score comes through for Josh Barnett and Simply Irreductible, a cutout score of 18 points. 18 points there for Simply Irreductible, ridden by Josh Barnett.
Well, Jimmy Intercap now is a fellow who placed second last night with an 89, got an 88 the night before. Matt Holtz on Non de Lust Frontier.
Well, as we spoke about there earlier, round number 4, it's one of those decisions where you come to the roundabout and you've got to make a decision, and this is the decision here in round 4, where it starts to become into the business end of the competition. And look at Nonda, Last Frontier, and Matthew Holtz in the saddle. Goes back hard now, goes right across, blocks him up. Oh, good work here. Nonda, Last Frontier, Matthew Holtz, he calls for the gate. He's out on the dance floor, and look at that in a couple of strides. Nonda, Last Frontier's got him all under control. Around the first peg they come. He says, I'm just waiting for you, Matt. He says, when you say go, we'll just sit a little tiny bit and let him run on a bit, but I think it's right to go now. And he says, yes, let's go. He hits the GPS, he moves up on him now. He says, well, just let him sit. Oh, boys and girls, Sydney, I think we might have to get the bigger glasses and fill them up again. Can we do it? Give you a round of applause there. Looking so good, and just come down the side of the gate.
So close yet so far. Millimetres the difference in this sport.
Next into camp will be Chappie, Andrew Chapman, riding Peel Vale Fancy Chick, the 6-year-old. Now Andrew is a cattle stud owner and manager, Canara Stud Angus. Their lovely family, Trudy, Charlie and Georgie, and lots of sausage dogs.
Okay, the scores come through here now for Non de Last Frontier, ridden by Matthew Holtz, of 20.5 for cutout, 59 for horsework, 3 out of 4 for the course, a total of 82.5 points. 82.5 points for Non de Last Frontier, ridden by Matthew Holtz. As we move on now to competitor number 11 is Andrew Chapman with Fancy. And here we go. He comes around the first peg. And the Angus Cross steer says, I'll just sit here. I'm just having a look around and see if I can spot in the crowd. He says, let's go now. And Fancy says, yes, it's time to move her up. Now sit back. It's just finger touch control here. Andrew Chapman, come on, Chappie. Trudy and Georgia and Charlie are all riding with you this afternoon. And Fancy and Andrew Chapman right through the middle.
Andrew Chapman, he scored here each and every night thus far. We'll come over and grab him for a quick post-run interview. Hey, Chappie, how much do you love drafting here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show?
Oh, this is my favourite draft by far. I love coming down here. It's a great privilege. Crowd's always wonderful. Cattle are great, thanks to Ellerston. Sponsors are great. It's a great atmosphere. Love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's show our love for Chappie. What a ride.
So the score has come through for Fancy, ridden by Andrew Chapman, of 22 for cutout, 61.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 87.5 points. 87.5 for Fancy, ridden by Andrew Chapman. Okay, we move on now to number 12 in round 4, Danny Farley with Tabasco, calls for the gate, Tabasco, Danny Farley in the saddle. They step out now onto the big stage here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show, round 4, brought to you with the Commons of Tyrrells and Tabasco, Danny Farley. Now they just come around, they just move things up a little bit. Danny says, I'll just let this steer run on a little bit. Comes around, and he's going to come inside the second peg. But give him a round of applause. He'll go with a cutout score there only for round 4.
Well, Danny Farley, he's had a couple of good runs out here, but tonight, not the night. Heading into camp next, he placed first last night from a little town near Rockhampton in Queensland. It's Matt Moffatt. Did very well last year at the Capella Campdraft in the Central Highlands. Won the Graham Acton Memorial. Go ahead, sorry, Jim.
Danny Farley with Tabasco, 22 points for cutout. 22 points for cutout with Tabasco, ridden by Danny Farley. We move on now to Matt Moffatt. What a round he put on here last night. Judges are just not happy with... might just get rid of one down the back. So our campdraft judges just have seen a beast down the back there that are just not happy.
Of course, the welfare of our cattle is of the utmost importance, as it is at every draft around the country each and every weekend. And the sport doesn't happen without our wonderful donors of this magnificent sport, and we thank them very much. Hey, Jimmy, he's like you and me. He's got his mate and he doesn't want to leave him. When I come out here, I just want to hang out with you.
Might be a nice opportunity, Tim Treverman and Jim Callanan, to introduce our judges, Warwick Lawrence and Rodney Crump. Warwick judged out here last year. He's currently sitting right up there in the most successful rider standings. He's actually ridden in stock horse classes in the showing ring at Sydney Royal in the past and won the R.M. Williams Trophy here on the grounds on a couple of occasions. And Rodney Crump, Rocket, a farrier from the Hawkesbury, just outside of Sydney. He competed in the draft and placed very well on his second night out ever at Sydney Royal. He placed second back in 2014 in the World Championship Campdraft.
Well, while they take that steer across, Troy Palmer at 91 on the board. It must be a nice feeling sitting back here at the camp.
Yeah, Timmy, it's always good to get out early and put one on the board and yeah, try and put a bit of pressure on the other competitors. Always hope they go as good as they can, but it's just nice to get one up early.
And tell me, mate, the family couldn't make it down this year. Fee and the kids are back home, but I know they're watching on the live stream.
Yeah, boys will be at home. Jet and Lockie, they'll be sitting up on the couch watching it tonight. They're a little bit young to bring down there and they're a little bit hectic.
Well, we can't wait to welcome you down here. A big thank you, Troy. Now, mate, there's a bit of a history with this sport. You keep thinking you get out of questions. Your family, how long has someone been competing in the draft here at Sydney?
Oh, mate, I think I'm pretty sure it's over 50 years that we've had a Palmer competing here, but my grandfather and Mark's grandfather competed at the old showground in the bronc ride back in the 50s and 60s. So it's been a bit of a tradition for one of us or some of us to be here all the time. So we always love coming down here and getting our city fixed for a week. So it's a great place to be.
Well done, current leader of the competition, as we go back to Jimmy.
Okay, so it looks like we're all set to go. Matt Moffatt, Will She Be a Cat? Makes his selection and gets it away on its own, and nice little bit of work there riding in the cattle camp as well. Matt Moffatt, She Be a Cat. Number 13 in the draw for round 4, and She Be a Cat. And they step out onto the around on the dance floor here now. Oh, look at this, around the first peg they come. Now, here we go, and She Be a Cat. Ridden by Matt Moffatt, they come around here now. Come around the second peg. Oh, and it tightens it right around as well. They come right around. They get 3 out of 4 for the course. Come on, Sydney, boys and girls, let's ride with She Be a Cat. Ridden by Matt Moffatt. They line it up. Cheer him on! Champagne, Campdrafting. Many thanks to Ellerston Pastoral Company and to the Packer family and to all the team, Rob Teague, Scott Mitchell, for that relationship with the RAS for the World Championship Campdraft.
Hey, Matty, how did that feel?
Oh, yeah, no, it felt really good, mate.
Mate, you come out here, there's some big scores on the board. How do you think you went?
Oh, not sure, mate. I was just happy to get a clean run and keep adding to the total, so that's the goal of the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Matt Moffatt.
Well, the scores come through for She Be a Cat, ridden by Matt Moffatt, of 21.5 for cutout, 62.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 88 points. 88 points there for She Be a Cat, ridden by Matt Moffatt. Well, we go to the livestock agent from Scone now, Wade Miles with Main Camp Expression. Wade, he's just running his eye over. He says, will I take this one or take the other one? He's probably got a couple he likes, but he's just hoping he gets the right one. And he's got the one of the biggest ears out of them. Wade Miles now with Main Camp Expression. Here we go, he comes right up the face of the camp. He goes 1, the 3, the 4, blocks it again right in the middle of the yard. Goes hard to the fence, blocks it up again. Wade Miles, now right here, another good block, goes across hard to the camp, in the middle, now comes out. He's on the dance floor here in the Giant Stadium. Wade Miles with Main Camp Expression, and the steer's not going to run on. Give me a round of applause there, Sydney. Main Camp Expression and Wade Miles. The stamp just fell off the letter before it got to the post office. Okay, we go with our final competitor in round number 4. Robert Leach, Hazelwood Congressman. So he's just going to run his eye over our final competitor now. The Australian stock horses, they do battle the breed for every need. And we move on to our final competitor, number 15 for round 4. With a wonderful horse here, Hazelwood Congressman. Ridden by Robert Leach. Got his wife Lee here and son Grant. Grant, the son, loves camp drafting. Goes there, he's trying to put the handcuffs on him. He's like a runaway prisoner. But look at Congressman. He says, you've got no chance of getting away on me. He says, I'm going to tackle you down here and put you back on course. Now, look here, they do the changeover. Cunea and Hazelwood Congressman and Robert Leach. Around they come. Oh, he's got a V8 motor in him, this deer. Comes around. Let's start to ride with him. He comes back around. He's got 2 out of 4 for the course. Looking to make it 3 out of 4. Comes around, he just gives the steer a little bit of breathing room. Now, boys and girls, mums and dads, can they do it? Can they do it? He's going to go for the miracle, and there goes the time. He's run out of time. Robert Leach with Hazelwood Congressman.
Well, while we wait for that final score, Rocket, mate, it's great to have you down here. What a privilege it must be to judge this drafting.
Oh, it really is. You know, we're 4 nights in now, and the pressure's building for all of us, not just the competitors. You know, we have to get it right too. And my boys, Charlie and Billy, are here tonight, so they tell me when I get it right or wrong when I get back to the room. So, but it really is an honour, and yeah, it's great to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of our esteemed judges, Rodney Crompton.
Okay, the score for Robert Leach and Hazelwood Congressman of 20.5 for cutout, 53.5 for horsework, 3 out of 4 for the course, a total of 77 points. 77 points there for Hazelwood Congressman, ridden by Robert Leach.
Well, 2 nights left to go in the World Championship Campdraft. We're getting to the pointy end of the competition, but we'll line up now for the presentation. We'll send our steers back to their mates, and a big thank you to the team at Ellerston Pastoral for the superb cattle they bring here each and every year. And I'm sure we'll be enjoying a Tyrrell's wine in a few moments with our successful competitors tonight. It's your last chance, boys and girls, if you haven't been to the Show Bag Pavilion yet, to pick up the best bag on the ground, the Royal Agricultural Society Foundation Ag Bag. The proceeds go to 7 community projects across New South Wales, and $8.2 million has been raised through that foundation since inception. But Jim, we will have the results on the ground in just a moment. Tim Drevman bringing us all of our live interviews with competitors on horseback each night.
So we're just about to get underway with the presentation of round 4, and it'll be done by our councillor down here, Mr. Jamie Bell, and councillor Mr. Chris Eggleton. And the winner of round 4, Troy Palmer with Blue Tunes. Well, congratulations, Troy. You're going to become a public speaker the way you begin getting interviewed in 2023. Congratulations, Troy.
I won't take that job off Rob, Jimmy. I'll leave that to Rob. He's the public speaker in the group.
Okay, so all pretty good down here. You've been lucky enough to pick a good one, and the ground's good, cattle are good. We won't talk about that anymore because we can't give them any more praise, I don't think, can we?
No, it's been a little bit dry up there in the Hunter Valley, and a big thank you to Mrs. Parker and Rob Tegg and Scotty Mitchell and all the team up there at Ellerston. We can't run camp drafting without cattle, and it's what we do every day, working with cattle, so it's great to be able to come down here and showcase it to Sydney and the crowd.
Hey Troy, just tell the crowd, how do you feel the day in here, like from daylight in the morning to you compete at this time of the evening?
Oh, we're pretty busy, Jimmy. We've got a fair bit on. We've got to go down and muck out the stables and feed horses and take them out for a bit of exercise and give them a pick of grass. And horses are looked after very well. I clean everybody's stables out most mornings, so got a bit on.
And I do notice you play a few games with the kids up there.
Yeah, we get a bit of that on. We muck around. We're all good mates and that. We stick together.
All the best for the remaining 2 rounds, Troy.
Thanks, Jimmy, and I hope you're watching Jet and Lock and Feig. Love yous.
Okay, there we go. The winner and place getters of round number 4. So Troy Palmer first, Matt Moffatt second, Tony Mortimer, Chappie, Brent Smith, they run out the 3rd and 4th and 5th positions. So thank you very much, Lindsay Douglas. We'll cross back upstairs to you.
Thanks, Jim Callanan, the voice of horse sports all over Australia. Troy Palmer taking the win tonight. Matt Moffatt from Queensland sitting in 2nd after round 4. Tony Mortimer in 3rd. Brent Smith, Andrew Chapman replacing